Breaking news here on Houston Texans Today, as your Houston Texans have signed tight end Dalton Schultz and running back Devin Singletary in NFL free agency. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us as we react to this news. We will get you all the inside scoop on both these signings and tell you about both players coming up on today's show. Let's start with Dalton Schultz. This news coming from NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero this afternoon. The Texans are signing tight end Dalton Schultz to a one-year deal worth up to $9 million per sources. Schultz has 198 catches, 17 touchdowns over the past 3 seasons in Dallas. He's still only 26 years old. I got to tell you, this signing makes a lot of sense. 1 year, $9 million. You see what you like out of Dalton Schultz. To me, this makes a lot of sense for the Texans to go this route and bring in Dalton Schultz here. You're looking at a guy who spent 5 seasons there in Dallas, still relatively young, the former 4th-round pick, and he's been pretty reliable for the Dallas Cowboys in that stretch, playing 75 games in the past 5 seasons for this team. I got to tell you, I really like this move. You have a Houston Texans team that is very young, that's going to have a lot of draft picks, obviously, and now you bring in a guy with Dalton Schultz who is still along your timeline of sorts. It doesn't throw off the direction of where this franchise is wanting to go by bringing in Dalton Schultz by still being a relatively young player. The numbers on Dalton Schultz over the last several seasons, as you can see, he's taken quite the step up. 2021 was the best season that he had with 78 catches, 808 yards, and 8 touchdowns. The Texans would like to see more of what they saw in 2021 out of Dalton Schultz there. How would you grade the signing? I would grade it an A myself. What about you, Texans fans? Tell me in the comment section, A, B, C, D, or F. What do you think of the signing of the move by the Texans here to go with Dalton Schultz? Let me know in the comment section below. So I got this signing an A myself, but I want to hear from you guys what your signing is. We asked you that in the comments section of what you think of this move. To me, it just makes a lot of sense, right? A very dynamic player who the Texans obviously had a need there at the tight end spot. It's a win-win as far as I'm concerned. That 1 year, $9 million, if Dalton Schultz has a disappointing year, it's not going to cost you too much, right? It's kind of a prove-it deal of some sorts for Dalton Schultz to see if he can get paid next year. Folks, that's why you subscribe to the channel, why we have you covered here on Houston Texans Today. When news breaks, you know we're going to cover it here. And this channel's growing. The more resources we can dedicate to this channel will come if you guys subscribe and we continue to grow this thing. So if you want us to cover the Houston Texans, we get some new channels here at Chat Sports. You got to subscribe so we can really build this thing and be a part of what the Houston Texans are doing in this next era of Houston Texans football. Subscribe now, youtube.com/Texans TV. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. So the deal with Dalton Schultz, that wasn't the only signing for Houston. They ended up bringing in Devin Singletary, as reported by Ian Rappaport of the NFL Network, saying the Texans have reached an agreement to sign former Bills free agent running back Devin Singletary, sources said, giving them an additional weapon alongside Dameon Pierce. The player, called Motor, has averaged 4.6 yards per rush in each of the last 2 seasons. And we mentioned Pierce there. Now you have depth at the running back position. You have multiple options. And Singletary, still a relatively young guy at this point in time. Let's look at the numbers from Devin Singletary of what he's produced the last few seasons. You can see he's been consistent around 4.5 yards or more the last several years of what he's been able to put together on the ground. You'll take that. No complaints about those statistics, especially if that's going to be your number 2 running back. 4 years with the Bills, former 3rd-round pick, and he's been very reliable, kind of like what we talked about with Dalton Schultz. He's played 61 games in the last 4 years, Devin Singletary has. What is your one-word reaction? My one word was depth. What's your one word? Let me know in the comments section below what your one word is to describe the Texans making this move for Devin Singletary. A big day for your Houston Texans. We covered it all here on the channel. We'll see you next time here on Houston Texans Today.